Hello class, welcome back. Hope you've had an awesome start to your week so far. Hope you guys had an awesome Easter and you enjoyed it with family and friends. And I had a good Easter here, and I hope that you guys did as well. And I hope that we remembered uh, the purpose of Easter, that it's not just a day off that we have on Friday before, and it's a time to spend with family, but it's really a time to reflect on what God has done for us, that He has provided a way of salvation for us, and that He is risen. And that's why we're excited today. That's how we can live today, because He lives, and I can face tomorrow, like the song says, where because Jesus lives, now we can live as well. And living, talking about after death. And so I hope that you took time to really reflect on what Jesus has done, and I hope that we continue to reflect on what Jesus has done. It's not just this one time of the year that we should, but it really should be throughout the year. So I want to encourage you guys with that, and hope you guys are staying encouraged, staying positive. And I want to say I'm super excited about our Zoom later on this week. We will be Zooming on Thursday at 9 o'clock. I'll post that on the discussion section, but I'm looking forward to that as well. And I want to use that session to have you ask any questions about this material or what we'll do on Thursday as well. Or if it's from last week, you can ask about last week as well. I really want to use that time to answer any questions that you may have. And I hope these videos are helping. And I want to encourage you, don't just watch it once and call it done. If you still struggle with it, I'm always here to help. But maybe if you just rewatch the video and focus on the part of the video that you struggle with and watch it until it makes sense, then maybe that will help. But I want to encourage you, I'm always here to help you. If you email me, message me on Edmodo. I want to help you guys any way possible that I can. I know it's a different situation, but I hope that you guys are making the best of it, as we are trying to as well. And I just want to encourage you with that we're all in this together, and it's gonna be okay. So I want to move on to page 550. If you have your textbooks, 550. Um, you see it on my screen as well. We're in 12.8 inequalities. You may have heard of inequalities before, but I want to get a word-for-word definition of what an inequality is. It says it's a mathematical sentence stating that two expressions are not always equal. This is something that we've never seen before in our math class yet. But it's something you can handle. I know it. I'm positive that you can all do this, okay? I know that you guys can. So let's kind of break it down. What does it mean that it's not always equal? Sometimes it'll be unfair. Whereas what we've seen before in every equation, we've seen something like n plus 12 equals 5, okay? Now, this means that whatever n is, whenever we add it to 12, will get exactly 5. It will be equal. I don't know if you have this with your siblings, but there's always a fight for being equal, right? I remember growing up, and it was always like, oh, he got 2 scoops of ice cream. Why couldn't I get 2 scoops, right? It always had to be equal. Or if I had a little less, right? It was always a big, not that I would, of course. Um, Moving on. It was always my other siblings, of course. No. Growing up, we would always argue who was the equal, or are we all equal? Do our parents treat us equal? Well, I do want to encourage you that parents do, and my mom and dad would always say this, that yes, you guys are equal. Parents are not perfect, okay? They may try to be as equal as possible, but we as kids could always find something to say that it wasn't equal. It's not like the parents were trying to do it on purpose. So I know as a sibling, it can be frustrating, like, oh, it's not always equal, especially middle child, right? Middle child seemed like we always got left out. But I know that my parents were trying, and it wasn't my parents' fault. It was just me. It was my fault. I would always look at the little. But kind of comparing that to this, it's always something's going to be greater than, and one is going to be less than. So let's look at some of these terms. You may have heard these before. You have probably seen these in some of your math before. But I do want you to know these symbols and their meanings. So this chart is great, and I would have you reference this chart throughout this section. If you ever have any problems on which sign is what, always refer to this chart. You may have heard of the alligator eating the bigger item. So this symbol is less than. Why? Because if we have a number on the left side, we always read left to right, correct? So if we have a number 5 over here, 5 is less than, pick a number that 5 is less than. 10? Did you say 10 too? That'd be weird. Let me know if you said 10. Anyway, 5 is less than 10, correct? And the 10 over here, the alligator is eating the bigger number. So we say 5 is less than 10. The reason why we say less than is because we read left to right. Now, what if we put 10 over here? 10 is, the way we say it is greater than. So 10 is greater than 5. Did you say 5 too? Probably, because I used it in the last one. But 10 is greater than 5. Now, you'll notice these two signs look just like the first two above. In fact, they're said the same way, except whenever you see the line underneath, it means equal to, that it could be equal to. So, would this be correct? 5 is less than or equal to 5. That would be a correct statement because it has an equal sign underneath. But what if I set it up here? 5 is less than 5? No, 5 is not less than 5. 5 is equal to 5. 5 is 5. So it's not correct to say it up here because there's no equal to sign underneath. But here it would be correct. Now this last one with the line slash through it kind of reminds me of if you're driving down the road or if you're walking down the road and you see maybe you're in the park and you're walking down and you see a sign that says, "Do not feed the ducks." Then there's a sign that says feed and a line crossed through it. That's really the exact same thing as the not equal to sign. This line through it just means not, don't do it. So with the equal sign with a line through it, simply means that it's not equal. What would make this true? 12 is not equal to 7. Yes, 12 is not equal to 7. 12 is not equal to 12. No, 12 is equal to 12. So you can't say that. This not equal just means whatever's on this side cannot equal what's on the other side. Pretty simple. Let's look at how you may work with some inequalities. Very first example says write an inequality. So this is very similar to what we did a couple sections ago where we were writing equations. Now we're going to write inequalities. So look at A. It says the sum of n and 9 is at least 12. So I like to break this word by word. The sum. Sum tells us addition. So we have addition. What are we adding? 9, n and 9. So adding n and 9 is, whenever you see is, the next thing that follows is going to be one of these symbols. So let's see, it says is at least. Okay, which one is at least? Oh, here's at least. So we're going to use the greater than or equal to sign. And then it says is at least 12. Now, according to what we're supposed to do, we're just supposed to write the inequality. So we should be done. Let's check our answer. And yes, this is exactly, whoa, where'd it go? This is exactly what we got on our board. Look at letter B. It says a number. Okay, a number. So that's going to be x. Let's put an x up here. A number less than 3. So does that mean it's going to be a less than sign? No, because we haven't seen the word is yet. We're going to put the symbol, whenever we find is, the next thing, now you see less than, we're going to put the less than once we find it. So let's slow down. A number, x, less than 3. So how do we write less than 3 not using those symbols? It's going to be a subtraction. It's going to be x. If we have 3 and we take away x, that's really a number less than 3. So then we come to the word is. That means now we're on this side, and this is going to tell us the symbol. What is our symbol? It says less than. So it literally tells us to use the less than sign. Less than what? 5. Is that what they got in our example? Let's look. Letter B, 3 minus x is less than 5. That's exactly what they get. This may be the hard part for you. If you go back to translating equations, this will be found on that page, and that should be able to help you out. On the next page, 551, you see skill check 1. Please do that at this time. Pause so that you can solve this on your own. After you've finished, you should have paused by now. If you're not finished, go ahead and pause. I'm going to tell you the answer. It says the product. So right away, we know we're doing multiplication. I'm going to put a dot instead of an x, because if we're not careful, we may think, is that multiplying or is that an x for a number that we don't know? So I'm going to put a dot. So we're multiplying. The product of 5 and h is not equal. See the word is? So whatever follows the word is the sign we're going to use. So not equal to 7. That's your answer. Number 2, it says the sum. So I know addition. Sum of 5 and the quotient of 3 and x. So what does that mean? 5 plus what? The quotient. So that means I'm going to add 5 to the answer of 3. What does quotient mean? Division. So I'm going to add 5 to my answer. The quotient is the answer to a division problem, so I had to put it in parentheses. The quotient of 3 and x. Then I see the word is. So is tells me what sign I'm going to use at most. At most? What does at most mean? Looking back here, at most is greater than or equal. I'm sorry, less than or equal to. So less than or equal to 2. That's your answer for number 2. Look how else we'll use this problem. We got 3 more examples. Or 2 more examples, I'm sorry. So we have, I'm going to go pretty quick. We'll finish in 2 minutes. Stay with me. The inequality, which one is 15 a solution? This is going to be yes or no answers. Notice it says, is a given value a solution? So all you're going to put is yes or no. How do you know? Well, you have to solve. So notice what we do here. The very first thing is we're going to put what number we're told, 15, and we're going to put it wherever we see the variable. So wherever we see x, we put the 15. So notice this is what they write. They write, I'll do it because it may be confusing. So 2 plus 5 times 15 is less than 7. Well, 5 times 15, they've done the math for us, is 75. So 2 plus 75 is less than 7. 2 plus 75 is 77. Is 77 less than 7? No, it is not. So notice what their answer is. Since 77 is not less than 7, 15 is not a solution. So since 77 is not less than, our answer we would put is no. So now let's take the number again they're told us to put in. Let's put that in letter B. We get 3 parentheses 15, because that's where the x is, minus 13. Looks like a B. Minus 13 is less than or equal to 6. So let's do the math. 15 minus 13 is 2. So it's 3 times 2 is less than or equal to 6. There we go. 3 times 2 is